Pineapples, welcome to the Juicy Tidbits podcast, where my mission is to energize you, your team, and your sweet results. I'm your host, Christine Trippi, the Chief Fun Officer here at the Wise Pineapple. Today, my guest star is Amy Heller. Amy is a veteran of the hospitality industry, dedicating 25 years to award-winning service with many top brands, including Marriott and Hilton. She now devotes her insider perspective to the client side of corporate and organizational meeting planning. In her personal time, she enjoys spending time with family, and in her quieter moments, she's out hiking, running, reading, and planning her next travel adventure. Can you tell that we are like sisters from other misters? We are so much alike. So please welcome my wonderful friend, Amy Heller.
Hi. Hey, Christine. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you, my friend?
I am good. Good. I am so thankful that you asked me to be on your podcast today.
Absolutely. You have so much great juicy tidbits to share with people to help them be empowered and confident and lead from the heart. So I'm so excited to have you. And it's funny reading your things you like to do in your downtime. I'm just like, we could be the same person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Those are all the things I'm doing in my downtime too.
We have to have plenty of energy to do all those things, right?
That is very true. And
Yeah.
so I really thank you for being here to help me fulfill this passion project this month.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so I've been talking to a lot of our industry people who have started their own business adventures. So like myself, 30 years in hospitality, you 25, 30 years in hospitality, and now we're going into our own business adventures. What has surprised you the most about going out on your own?
Just how quiet it is for quite a while before things start happening. You really have to motivate yourself, and it's a very long journey, but you have to have a lot of patience.
Yes, patience and trust and belief in yourself, because it is. And for me, I really did start off kind of gangbusters, but then with everything that happened with COVID, it got a lot more challenging.
It does. It did. And you're definitely right. I mean, even in normal times, it takes quite a bit of, like you said, patience and just pushing through. But then add a pandemic on top of that, you really have to be tough as nails to make it through this and trust the process and just be empowered.
Yes, and it's so true. And here was the thing that surprised me. Being a person who's been inside the hotel walls for 30 some years,
Mm-hmm.
I am in my little headquarters HQ here at my house, and I miss having colleagues, and I miss having a team, and that was a little difficult too.
Absolutely. And that's the piece of it too, where your circle, your relationship, the networking, picking up that phone, the Zoom calls, so many Zoom calls, you really have to embrace that and put yourself out there and show up in the way that we could show up through a pandemic. And like you said, you have to have the people around you on top of the confidence in yourself.
Yes. So all these people who are doing different things like yourself, like so many of the guests I've had on this month that have moved into their own businesses, I kind of liken them to my colleagues out there. And when I want to bounce ideas or things like that, I'll call upon them. But you really need to make that network happen. Otherwise, it can be very, very lonely.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And just really understanding and being able to understanding who's in the similar boat that you are and who's doing it well. That's the piece of it too. Who's doing it well? How can I, tap into what they're doing and schedule time to be with them and understand what's working and what's not. And that I am not afraid to call anyone, talk to anyone about that, just to push forward.
Yes, and we talk all the time.
Me too.
Hey, I learned something. Let me share it with you. And you're like, I learned something. Let me share it with you. And
Yes.
That's all about. And you know what? You might find people that are like, well, you can schedule time on my thing. It's, X amount of dollars to chat with me. You might find people that are like that. But for the most part, people want to help people. So
do.
don't be afraid to reach out. It's awesome.
And that's, and you bring a good point. That's one part that I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised about, is that people do want to help. And the new network, it's even a new network that I have. I just feel so blessed with the people that I'm surrounded with, and that will check in and say, to your point, like you said, hey, I just learned something today. Do you have time for a call? I want to share it. And it's such a wonderful world out there when you build those type of relationships.
Yeah, it truly is. I love it. And if you want that to happen to you, you got to give it out there too.
Exactly. Yep.
I love it. Well, your previous life was sales in hotels and in hotel organizations. And we all know that in a hotel, everybody sells is our motto.
Yes.
Let's just pretend you're at a hotel huddle. What everybody sells tip could you give for the team to focus on? Give me
a great tip is almost the segue that you just gave, is relationships, because selling is just all about relationships. I can give you a couple examples I had today where I get an email, a random email, hey, that from someone I don't even know, wanting to sell me something, and they're hardcore selling in an email. And I just hit delete. You didn't take the time. Yeah, you didn't take time to even know me. And if you knew me, I don't even need the things that you're offering. And so it's about really the relationships.
Yes.
You have to build it, and it takes time. It's not a quick piece of it. And sales is all about relationships. I wish I could stand on top of the world and shout that out there, because it's not just, hey, buy my product. Hey, why don't you get to know me? Find out then what my needs are, and then slowly introduce your product or your service. So relationships.
Something that frustrates me to no end is the LinkedIn people who just slam all the inboxes and then just, all these sales things. And you've never even commented on a post or liked a post or included a conversation with me. So you have to build the relationship first. And I know you want to just do it and sometimes just lickety split by just blasting people's DMs. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get it. But I have a tip for everybody out there, because this reminds me of a tip. As a general manager, and when I get blasted in my DMs, I always use it as a opportunity to counter.
You do.
So let's just say that cold caller walks into my lobby. I'll sit down with you. I'll give you 15 minutes, and I say, does your company need any rooms? Are you planning any meetings? I always turn that opportunity.
I love it.
And for those who DM me, just blast my DMs, I always say, thanks for that great information. Are you looking for your next training for your team or your next good read? My book is da 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 da, and I just have it copy and pasted. I just copy and paste it.
Oh, I love it.
It's hilarious.
That's really good, because today I was a little bit frustrated and thought to myself, I just want to respond to this person that hasn't bothered to like any of my stuff and doesn't know me. I want to respond with, do you know me? But I like what you're doing there. And the other thing that I would say, my experience in sales, so many people will tell you, oh, I can't do sales. I'm not in sales, and it's not my thing. This is the other tip I would give, is that you're selling to everybody every day. You're selling to your family, your husband that may want to eat at this restaurant and you don't. So you want to sell him on the reasons why let's go to this restaurant versus the other. Your kids, your children, even your pets, you are doing some kind of sales pitch to somebody. And so everybody is in sales if you're wanting to, get your point across. And if people look at it that way, then they're thinking, okay, maybe I could be in sales.
Right. And this is something I just mentioned on another show recently, is that I always thought that too. I'm not that salesperson, I'm that service person. But when I realized everything I do through service is sales. If you think of it, I'm not selling somebody, I'm serving somebody. And even in opening my heart up to those cold callers and saying, what could fascinate me about this cold caller? And maybe I can turn things around, and maybe he needs something I can serve him with or her with. So again, if you think about it as serving versus sales, how can I serve that other person? You can maybe change your own mindset for the people who are afraid of sales.
That is so true. It really
Yes.
is.
Yes. Oh my God.
Servicing feels good.
Yes, it
Yes.
does. And
Mhm.
I understand those people because that's been me my whole life. I always thought,
Right.
no, I like the operations where I serve, not
Yeah.
selling to people. But it's really the same.
It's same. Yes, it
Yes,
is.
yes. Well, Amy, each episode is just a juicy tidbit of inspiration to help leaders to be confident, be empowered, or to lead from the heart. Which one do you want to focus on today?
Be empowered is my,
And you are
yes.
a powerful girl. All right, my friend Amy, I know you have a lot of juicy, great tidbits, so I'm going to turn it over to you to let you give your juicy tidbits, okay?
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. And, I think the part that really hit me about being empowered is it really is about the confidence and feeling empowered to do things that you wouldn't normally do. And so with that, I talk about a lot pushing the comfort zone. Many, many years ago, I started doing this where I challenged myself. I literally set a reminder in my phone, in my Outlook, to push the comfort zone. And this can empower you just tenfold. It just taking the time to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable at the time. And that can be anywhere, anything from having a tough conversation with your boss. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't do this, but I really know I need to. Pushing that comfort zone and planning that and having that conversation, because when you have that conversation, I am here to tell you that it takes you to another level, because then you're ready to take on that next challenge and push that comfort zone again. In my experience, I have actually had many different positions in the hotel industry because I pushed my comfort zone. I started out as an admin, and in a smaller city, and got an opportunity to move to the big city and take on a senior sales manager position. So I skipped a couple of positions, but I didn't care. I pushed that comfort zone. I went to that interview. I did the homework. I moved to the big city, and I actually became that senior sales manager. And that really showed me that as long as you do your research and you push yourself and you just show up and face your fears, it really can elevate you. And in so many ways, from just, I like I said, tough conversations, overcoming some kind of fear that you have. I have a terrible fear of heights. So when I turned 50, one of the things that I did was I planned a helicopter plunge into the Grand Canyon. That was going to be my 50th birthday present to myself. And I did it. And I have to tell you, it was the thrill of a lifetime. I absolutely, the hair stood up on my arms, but I couldn't believe that I did it. When you do something so epic like that, it really, again, it just takes you to another level, thinking, what's next? So
Exactly.
yeah, it really is.
I love that so much, and I have to show you. I always have my word of the year, and my word of the year is next.
Next. I love it. What's next?
I'm always focused on what's next. Always be progressive and moving. And I have a picture, but Hugh Jackman's covering it. I also went skydiving.
Okay, yeah, that's on my list.
But yeah, I'm always pushing myself to get outside of that comfort zone. And it doesn't have to be jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. It could be literally scheduling a coffee chat with somebody you'd like to connect with. It's simple as that. And I'd love to share with everybody. I hope you're not hearing that feedback. I'd love to share with everybody a tip that I share with leaders that I work with. First of all, start with that if-then strategy. So for example, if you want to start a podcast, then what I need to do is, and then you list it out. Then you take it to the different level of if-then. If you're afraid to ask people to be on your podcast, and because what if they turn me down? So then if they turn you down, then I will say thank you. If you change your mind, I'm here, and I'll ask somebody else.
Right.
When you actually write out those fears and how you can respond to them, you're proactively showing yourself, it's not that bad. I can handle that.
Right.
And then you're not as afraid to take that challenge on.
Exactly. And Christine, to your point, I have a list of those things. The list goes on from personal to business, personal to business. I list out the things that I wanted to challenge myself in. Again, it's been about branding and marketing with my business over the last 7 or 8 months since I started out on my own. And it's been simple things like you said, oh, do I really want to post that picture of myself? What will people think? Or what do I write? What do I want to say? So it very uncomfortable putting yourself out there and showing up, but then just like you said, what if no one likes it? What if, there's a comment that's negative? Well, then, I'll know if I need to change it or leave it, or know that some people are not going to like your content.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Not everybody is my follower. Not everybody's going to be your follower, and that's okay. There's enough of us out there for everybody.
Right. Well, and I love it. Just the other thing too is asking. Don't be afraid of asking anything, because a no is not a bad thing. This is a funny personal story, and I guess I look at it along my birthdays. So when I turned 45, a girlfriend of mine knew that I just loved Rick Springfield growing up. And she took me to a concert here in Nashville. And we got seats that were way up in the nosebleeds, and that wasn't enough for me. So I found my way down to the floor when I saw a couple seats open up and people didn't show up. But long story short, she's like, oh, this is great. We got front row, and you did that. And I said, oh, we're not done yet. I'm going to ask if we can go backstage and talk to him. It's my birthday. She said, you can't do that. I said, I can. What, are they going to arrest me? And I did. I asked, I went up and I said, it's my birthday and I really like this guy. He is amazing. He was my poster on my wall. And I asked them, and I said, can you ask Rick Springfield if I can come back because it's my birthday? We went back there backstage and we talked and took pictures. It was amazing.
That's so awesome, Amy. My husband, I'm going to tell him before because he loves Rick Springfield too.
I mean, it's a goofy story, but those are the things that, from a personal to business, that you only live once, and you don't not to just exist. That's my hashtag all the time.
You sit there and you self-doubt or you self-reject yourself. Oh, they'll never let us do that. But hey, what does it hurt to put it out there in the world? And look what happened.
Right.
And was he really nice?
Yes, he was very nice and said, happy birthday to you. I appreciate you asking to come back. So, that's the type of thing he's probably feeling a little bit aged. And it's like, God, there's somebody that still wants to come back and see me. Yeah. That's a guess.
That's so awesome. Even just putting together this podcast, you know what? I didn't know if people would take the time out to do this and whatnot. And I had 100% yeses. And I have to tell you, and I'm going to be honest with you, there's still a few people on my list that I'm disappointed with myself because I self-rejected myself and I haven't reached out to them yet. I did reach out to a lot of people that made me uncomfortable, some authors, things like that. But there are a few that I still haven't reached out to. So I need to push myself more. No matter how good you get at this, there's still room to grow.
Right. I agree. And I got to tell you, this is the first podcast I've ever done. So you want to talk about pushing the comfort zone. I was thinking of a million reasons why this morning. I'm like, oh, it's Monday and oh, this happened to me and that happened to me. I'm like, no, I am going to be empowered and I'm going to feel confident. I'm going to have freedom in my life.
Yep.
Open an opportunity, renew my energy. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Today. So yes, being empowered feels, what was that?
I said, isn't it fun?
Yes, exactly. It is very much fun. And I Christine, I got to tell you, you put people at ease, and that's awesome. And you do put a new energy into the interview. So that is great. And I'm telling you that being empowered and the confidence, it's a good feeling, but you have to work on it. And it doesn't happen every day. But again, it's about the relationship. Circle yourself with people like Christine. and yes. And you can make it happen.
I have another thought.
Yes.
When you in your life start hitting snooze more, hitting snooze triple, that is a pure indicator that you are not getting uncomfortable, because life is exciting when you're uncomfortable.
It is.
You got that new job and you show up and it's new and exciting and it's uncomfortable because you're learning. You get right up. But when you're doing something for a long, long time and you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you're not on that learning curve, you're not challenging yourself, you want to hit the snooze. If you are hitting your snooze over and over again, that might be a great indicator that it's time to jazz things up a little. And it doesn't mean you have to change your job, but what can you do differently or learn something new, whether it's personal or professional, to keep you wanting to get up right away instead of snooze. That is a good indicator. Yeah, I love that.
It is. Or sign up for a class, like you said, anything, or do something that you've never done. You're right. It's kind of an adrenaline rush.
Right. Even doing this little podcast project, it's got me reinvigorated because I'm learning how to do StreamYard. I'm learning how to work all these microphones. I'm learning, and every day I'm uncomfortable, but yet a fun uncomfortable.
Sure.
Yes. So at any rate, I can sit here and talk about comfort zones all like for a week. But as you know, I am the chief fun officer here at the Wise Pineapple. So I have some fun questions, and I thought I would circle them around with all the things you said you love to do in your free time. So are you ready for these?
I'm ready.
All right. So you said you love hiking, running, reading, and travel. So first of all, where is your most amazing place you've ever hiked?
Hiked would be Camelback, and there's a reason, because there's a story. I was challenging my, and even though Camelback is not a challenging course by any means, but
it's very challenging.
You do? Well, it was my daughter and I. We've first and only girls trip we've ever done, and it was my job I literally wanted to overcome heights and my fear of heights, and I got probably 3/4 the way up, and my daughter says, "Oh my gosh, turn around, Mom, and look at Paradise Valley. It's beautiful." I turned around and I froze. My legs would not move anymore. It was beautiful, but I had to sit on a rock, calm myself down, but I made it that far up. Now, so what goes up must come down. I shouldn't have looked behind me, but Camelback was definitely first that came to mind when you asked that, for that reason.
That's awesome. It's one of my all-time favorites too, but I'm going to tell everybody out there, it is hard.
Okay.
I've done it. I think I've done it 3 times now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so running. When you're running, do you listen to a podcast or music?
Music when I run, because I need to drown out the pain. Yeah, I need to. No, I actually I listen to music because I can run forever if I have the right music going. I don't even feel like I'm getting winded or tired. It's crazy, but yeah, music.
You're a beast, girl. You are a beast. What? Give me one of your songs that really gets you running.
Confident by Demi Lovato. Yeah, and Champion by Carrie Underwood.
My 2 favorite really get me running, pumping it up is Shut Up and Dance.
Yes.
And Uptown Funk.
Yep, I love that one too.
Yeah, I love that.
You all ready for this? Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so what are you reading right now?
what am I reading right now? Right now, that's funny because you caught me between books. So yes, I'm actually trying to find the next book, and it's funny you said that because I was journal writing this morning and wrote that in my book, time for a new book. So any suggestions would be good.
Well, it's so funny because wasn't it you where I was just talking to you and I was like, oh my gosh, you should read this book, and we both were talking about the same book we just read.
Yes, same book. And
guess what, Amy?
What?
I'm having Bob Berg on my show.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
He was one of the people he was one of the people I got uncomfortable with to ask him if he'd be on the show because I just finished his book and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask him if he'll be on the show.
I love it. I rewrote all of his reasons, and I have that in my journal and look at that each morning. So he's perfect to have on your show.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I'm so excited. Okay, you get to. This is hypothetical.
Okay.
You get 2 free first class tickets anywhere in the world. I know you love to plan travel, so where are you going?
Ooh, first class tickets. Where am I going? Oh. It'll be Italy because I haven't been.
Italy.
Yes.
Did you see that my daughter's in Italy right now?
Yes, I did. I did. And I've not been there, and I've heard so many great things, and I just can't wait. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, very good. Enjoy those first class tickets.
Thanks. Send them right away. Overnighting those.
Well, Amy, tell everybody where they can connect with you because and I don't correct me if I'm wrong. Did I ask you yet how you partner with the hotels?
No, you have not, but that's okay.
Yeah, I want you to tell people how you can help them because I know a lot of people have this thought process that you're just for the meeting planner, but you really can help the hotel. So to share with them that.
Yes, so I can really help the hotel because I can give you an example. This week, literally, I helped a hotel out that they have a director of meetings and events, but they do not have a staff yet. So they had a convention in of about 2,000, I guess it was about 2,000 people, and they needed boots on the ground for the on-site. So they hired me to come on site and actually help this meeting planner. And I set up during the day and helped set up tables, you name it. But that's how I can actually help the hotel. So if you are short, we definitely at Conference Direct, I am experienced pre-convention and actually on site. So I can help you that way. If you also are having a conversation with a planner during the process and they say that, we really don't have the staff for our on-site, that's where you can say, we work closely with Conference Direct and Amy Heller is available and I can travel anywhere as well, wherever the show is taking place or the event.
That's awesome. How can people connect with you?
You can connect with me either through LinkedIn. I think I can provide you my phone number too, or amy.heller@conferencedirect.com. Just shoot me an email. I'm on Instagram at Travel with A Heller.
And I'll have all those links in the show notes too for anybody listening.
Yes, and connect with me anyway. I share little tips, little travel tips, little planning tips, experiences that I've encountered in cities, destinations. I share that on my Instagram and LinkedIn as well. And I think I provided that link as well. So again, however I can help you and be on site right now, I think the hotels would appreciate it. And so would your clients that typically let that planner go during pandemic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, you are such an inspiration, and you know that we always end every Hello with great energy. So what is our phrase of the day today, Amy?
Push that comfort zone.
Woo, I love it. Now, for all the listeners out there, watchers, I don't care where you are, I want you to join us with this bit of energy. Everybody put your hand in. And Amy, you want to count us out?
All right. We're counting down, right?
Counting down, you bet.
All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Push that comfort zone!
There we go. This has been great.
Yes, yeah, I told you, wasn't it fun?
Yeah, it was. Thank you so much for pushing my comfort zone. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And everyone out there, I challenge you to push your comfort zone today. Do something that gets you uncomfortable. And thanks for tuning in. I hope this energized your morning as well as we just energized ourselves.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Amy. You are just such a great friend. I'm so glad you're in my life. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Christine.